first of all, listen, it's interesting about all these young guys today. They never call on us and say, hey, thanks for the kind word and telling me how great a player I am. But when they play like crap and we call them out, we don't know what we're talking about. Listen, I'm easy to find, but I get sick of these guys complaining. These young guys, they never call us and say, when a coach is wrong, I'm going to call him out. But when players are wrong, I'm going to call them out. But listen, I'm going to criticize guys that they deserve it. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.
What's going on, YouTube? It's Nathan back with another video presentation. I hope you all are doing well. Hope you had a nice weekend. Hope you're all staying safe. We're in the middle of September. I cannot believe that. Time is just flying by. I like 2 weeks ago, it was August, and now here it is September 5th. It'd be September 14th, we're in the middle of September. Before we get into the video, there's a few things I need to say up front. I have not gotten the opportunity. I have not forgotten to upload the last 6 episodes of the podcast on Spotify via Anchor. I have not forgotten to do that. Unfortunately, when you use StreamYard, you can't download everything all at once. You can, but it takes time. So I'll have those episodes up. I'm trying to have them up by tomorrow and Friday. Okay, I know I said I'll have them up by this week, but I'm going to have it up there by tomorrow, Friday. The bonus episode will also be included in that as well. It was only like a 20-minute. It was like a 20-minute video, but it'll still be posted on Anchor via Spotify. Couple things I want to just reiterate. I appreciate the support that I've gotten so far on the podcast. We're at 92 subscribers. I can't believe that. Thank you to those that are subscribed. My goal is to get. I would like to get to my next goal is to get to 100 subscribers. Please share the podcast. You guys we talk about other subjects that's not sports. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I'm willing to have a discussion about it. If you're liking what you're seeing, consider giving it a thumbs up, consider hitting that subscribe button, as I said. I just want to reiterate, I don't know what it was, but I had somebody post a very comment that was flat out of bounds. Again, this channel, we don't tolerate that. Simple as that. Your channel will be blocked, comment and all that. So let's be careful when we make comments like that. That was uncalled for, and we need to be careful. I mean, you need to be careful when we make comments like that. That was not right. Uncalled for. Episode 6. So we're down to the last couple games. Actually, they're like down to 2 games. 2 more games for the WNBA. To be considerate of time, I got a lot to get into tonight. I'm going to break down my WNBA awards again. They have been updated. I know from last episode I said I was going to go further into depth, but I feel like episode 6 is going to be a little bit more. I'm going to also talk about a couple things that happened with the Orioles, Nationals, and I got to get into the Ravens and the Washington football team. A couple takeaways from week 1, and then what I'm looking for in week 2, which for Baltimore and Washington particularly for Washington and Baltimore. Excuse me. In this episode, I guess I'm going to break down the week 1 takeaways. Baltimore Ravens, we lost to the Raiders in overtime. Washington football team, we lost to San Diego. The Orioles lost tonight to the Yankees 7-2, and this had an abysmal weekend series. I'll get into that. The Nationals actually kind of made me feel better this weekend. Got a couple tidbits I want to share with y'all for baseball news. Got a couple things in basketball for the NBA, and I got to get into the Mystics. I am going to talk about the Atlanta Dream and Indiana Fever because obviously they're now, they're at the bottom of the standings. They're two now. They're lottery picks. I had to see it for myself. I wanted to see because again, quoting a certain YouTuber on here, big fan of him. Trust your eyes, and I had to see it for myself because I think the talent that both teams have, they should have at least 10 wins, and on paper, and to see those are the only two teams that have single digit wins, that's flat out embarrassing. But let me real quick fix this banner. I misspelled a word. Excuse me. Oh, and then also too, I have to talk about this. I have to give a shout out to Cameron Crump. I talked about her. I think it was in episode last season, like 12, 13. Brittney Renner. Made some interesting comments. I'm leaving it at that. But real quick, I know 3 days ago was the 20th anniversary of 9/11. I didn't want to. I didn't. I mean, how can I? Let me put it like this. To know that it's been 20 years. It's still kind of hard to digest personally because I was 6 years old at the time when it happened. It's all I remember vehemently was I was in elementary school. I was in the cafeteria eating lunch, and I saw my dad walk into the cafeteria looking for me, and all I remember was seeing on TV what happened in New York. By the time we got home, both towers had collapsed, and I remember for like those 3 days because it happened on a Tuesday. I think Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't recall even going to school. I think everything everything stood still, and I think for me, just to see that happen then and even see it now, it's just unreal to think evil people in this world would do something so egregious to take the lives of innocent. And it reminds me, it just shows, especially I remember, I think it was probably like maybe a week or so after, it was on ESPN. I'll never forget it. The New York Mets, they were playing the Atlanta Braves. Mike Piazza hitting that home run. And then the White Sox at Comiskey Park playing the Yankees. Sammy Sosa hitting his, I want to say it was like 50th home run and running around with the flag. The Jets versus the Patriots. Oh man, I can't think what game. Well, I forget the offensive lineman's name, but he walked out there with 2 flags because he had, was it 2, 3 brothers and a father that was in the fire department. Again, I just want to send my thoughts and prayers to those families that lost a loved one that day, not just in New York, but in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Was that that tried to? It's just sad, and to think 20 years ago. And it's funny. I still have a newspaper clipping of when the second plane hit the tower. The second plane hit. I still have that news clipping. And I look at it from time to time and I go, wow. Sad. It's really sad. But let's get into some football. So I want people to know I'm not hiding. I'm not ducking from anybody. Really, the biggest thing for me, I'm still recovering, not from last night, but from this weekend with the Orioles and the Blue Jays. We lost. Baltimore Ravens lost in overtime, 27-33. It was a good Monday Night Football game. Let me just say this for the record. Excuse me. I am a Ravens fan, but I'm not a delusional Ravens fan. Am I biased towards the Ravens sometimes? Yes. But do I call it like I see it? Absolutely. Last night, that was our game to win. And the Oakland Raiders, I have to give the black and silver their respect. I truly do. That was our game to win, and we lost it. Let me break down a couple things for you. That offensive line is a huge. Let me not use words. It is question marks. All, particularly that right side of the offensive line. Now, you have Bradley Bozeman, who's a center, converted to a center. Okay, you got Kevin Zettler from the New York G-Men. And then you signed Alejandro Villanueva from the Steelers. Now, again, we didn't until the final week of the preseason against the Washington football team. We had a legit unit of 5 potential starters. Last night was awful. Tyree Phillips got hurt, and he's going to be out for a few weeks. Alejandro Villanueva looked flat out old. I mean, he made Max Crosby look like the second coming of Aaron Donald. That's how bad it looked. Getting under his pads. Just athleticism-wise, to the point where they even had Patrick Ricard come in there and help him. Now, unfortunately, the people are calling for his job. I think he should be sent to the bench. I like this Adrian Early kid who everyone said in camp was doing his thing. Now, they will get it together. But we got to address that right tackle position. This is why I'm still bothered by the fact that Orlando Brown Jr., and I get it. I respect it. He wanted to follow his father's footsteps, his father's dream, and being a left tackle. Mind you, a right tackle just got paid $93, $94 million. If Lamar Jackson was left-handed, you would be protecting his blind side. Now, in no way am I saying, well, if Orlando Brown was starting last night, that wouldn't have happened. Not saying that. But it makes a difference. Baltimore could have really also, too, gone in the draft and looked for a tackle. Instead of getting Ben Mason. No disrespect. Now, in defense of the offensive line. There was a few times, at times, Lamar Jackson was definitely frantic in the pocket, and he showed hesitancy to throw the ball and hand the ball off. I will give him that. Doesn't help, but Lamar Jackson had to do his own thing. Okay. Another thing I pointed out on the defensive side, we did not generate a pass rush. Let me say this. They didn't pressure Derek Carr no more than less than 40%. The fact, we could point to Adafi Onwa, Justin Houston, Patrick Queen, great individual games. But that front seven was not effective in that last night. Was not. We had 3 sacks. And was it 7 hits on the quarterback? Now, the secondary, without Marcus Peters, hurts. Jimmy Smith didn't play last night. That stings a little bit. I told you I'm not released on Anthony Everett right now. I've said that. I like Tavon Young, but this is just me. It's nothing personal against him. But every time he averages like 2-3 fouls a game. And it's always defensive pass interference or illegal use of the hands. I was more in favor of Sean Wade because I don't like Tavon Young's contract and the injuries that he's had. Particularly in the fourth quarter, we gave Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry was in the back, was in that pocket, doing his taxes, calling his wife or whatever. Ample opportunities they gave him for over 400 yards. Now, I'm going to also point another finger at here. Coach Martindale. What was that? Greg Roman, you're next too. What was that? Cover 0 blitzes and other packages did absolutely nothing. That last play, that Derek Carr threw to Trey Jones. I knew they're going to pass the ball. I knew they were going to pass it. Something said they're going to pass the ball. They're not going to run. They're going to pass. Absolutely pathetic. Now, I feel like for the most part, the first 3 quarters, we only allowed 10 points. And 2 scoreless quarters in the first and the third. But when the fourth quarter came down to the most, fourth quarter, that's when all happened. We were doing all the right things. We limited the big plays. We took out Darren Waller. I didn't like the fact that we had one-on-one coverage with Henry Ruggs and Winfro and Waller. I didn't like that. Then you can say, Nathan, they scored 17 points. Okay. But in their 8 drives in the first, second, and third quarter and fourth resulted in 1 punt and a turnover. And we failed on the 4th and 1. We only mustered a field goal. Now, we only forced 1 turnover. The only turnover was with Anthony Everett, and that was a crazy, crazy turn of events. And then Lamar Jackson on third down, stripped by Carl Nesbitt. That was the game. Now, he fumbled again in the fourth quarter when we led 17-10. Just right after the Raiders turned the ball over on downs. Now, I'm not, again, Lamar Jackson, I'm looking at the numbers right in my face. He had 235 and a nice and a touchdown. But you had two critical fumbles. One play in particular, you had an open Mark Andrews. I'm looking at Greg Roman. I don't know what else to say. I mean, it just, to me, it just felt like Greg Roman at times he couldn't really we couldn't find a good like to really get a hold of the game. And then again, when it counted the most, it costed us. If we're going to beat Kansas City Sunday night, it starts with the coaches. Martindale and Roman have got to figure it out. They got to get it together. But I understand that these other guys got to get it together themselves as well. Not take anything away from that. Now again, bright spots. Adafi Alway had a couple tackles, one for in a sack, because everybody was like, well, he didn't get a second Penn State, he's a project. He did all right. Marquise Brown led the team in receptions. 6 catches for 69 yards. Tyshawn and Latavius Murray combined 93 yards on 19 carries and 2 touchdowns. Now, I like to ask Greg Roman and Harbaugh this question. Why was Williams not out there in the second half? And it was more Murray. These are questions, people. But I want to point this out too, and I couldn't believe this for myself, but I had to look up the stats because I for some reason I'm kind of I want to back. I like to have facts. According to Next Gen Stats, Lamar Jackson was pressured on 54.5% of his passes, or his dropbacks. Ladies and gentlemen, no quarterback, I don't care if it's Tom Brady, I don't care if it's Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't care if it's Jalen Hurts, is going to be successful if you're pressured 54.5%. Now, everyone's looking like, well, what are you going to look like against Kansas City? I believe this loss is going to motivate them a little better. Against the first game of the season, there's a lot of things we can take away from this and grow. Now, again, I want to be fair. Like I said, the passing game was really nice. At times, it was really great. He didn't force any bad throws. Again, like I said, I think the addition of Sammy Watkins, I think, is a complementary piece to Hollywood Brown and Bateman and Boykin. And again, you didn't have Bateman and Boykin. Again, first game of the season, Mark Andrews didn't have a good game, but I know that's not Mark Andrews. I know I expect all these guys, again, to get it together. But my biggest concern is this offensive line and the secondary. I don't understand, Martindale. Why were we playing cover zero? And it left our corners on straight on the island. I mean, we couldn't maintain coverage. Like what? I like 5 to 10 seconds in single man coverage without any safety help. That's too much to ask. And Martindale knows that. But the fact that we gave up over 400 yards against this Raider team, we got a lot of work to do. Now, again, I have to give my respect to the Oakland Raiders. No disrespect. I know that they're called the Las Vegas Raiders, but I grew up watching the Oakland Raiders. That's just me. Not taking a shot. I just like to call them the Oakland Raiders because to me, they'll always be Oakland. Shout out to Oakland, by the way. Okay. These are things we have to fix going into Sunday night against the Chiefs at home because we're back here at home. But I sat back there and I said to myself, no, I was not. Oh my gosh, how could this happen? I was really sitting there back and I was observing. And I was watching. I even looked back at the highlights, and I saw a lot of red flags. Now, let me just make sure I say this right. Red flags where they're going, or we're not making the playoffs. Red flags where there needs to be improvement. Offensive line is one. Getting Bateman and Boykin back on the field. Because if you're asking Lamar Jackson to carry the team, right, this team in the current condition it's in right now, that's a recipe for disaster. And it's only week 1, and there's 16 games to go. They just cut Cannon. Personally, I just don't think it fit. I don't think it was going to work. It really came in with 51 guys on that roster. I mean, what else can we do? Personally, like I said, I was not that Tavon Young contract. I'm not a fan of it. Not taking anything away from him, but we gotta these little things we gotta work on. That Martindale, Roman, they gotta figure that out because I think again, I saw last night are things that can be steadily improved. However, Lamar, everybody has to be held accountable in this way. You know, because again, if you're asking, because consistency is not just on the quarterback, it's also too the offensive line, wide receivers, tight end. The wide receivers not in sync. Mark Andrews didn't really have a great game. The offensive line needs work. And I'll even go as far as saying the entire offensive line. I know Ronnie Stanley just came off an injury, and again, it's the first game of the season. But I digress. Washington football team, we lost. I don't really know what to feel about this one. Well, let me say this. My thoughts and prayers go out to Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's going to be out for about 8 weeks with a hip injury. I was kind of lost for words when he got hurt. I mean, where do I begin? I mean, San Diego moved the ball down the field, gave the San Diego a 7 early lead. The Chargers possession of time, they dominated in that, but we maintained a third. You know, we were down only 4 points. It was 13-9 going into half. Dustin Hopkins hit a 48-yarder. Which, by the way, Tyler Heineke had to give him. He did a really good job getting Washington the field goal position. But Justin Herbert's for real, y'all. I mean, we already seen that. We already saw the flashes last year. He didn't be really. I didn't see really any mistakes from him in that game against Washington. I mean, the only thing he threw an interception that was in the red zone, but again, that defensive line, again, Justin Herbert was back there doing his taxes, calling his girlfriend, all that. As long as that happens, the Chargers, I have them as my wild card coming out of the AFC, one of my wild cards. A pass rush. I still think on paper this is one of the top 5, top 3, probably arguably the best defense in the game. Chase Young and Montez Sweat. Where was the pass rush? We forced a fumble, and then we went in for a touchback. Jonathan Allen did have a sack as well, but Chase Young and Montez Sweat only combined for 1 sack and 1 hit on the court and 1 hit on Herbert. Against a revamped offensive line, the only one thing on San Diego's offensive line was Brian Bolega. He got injured. I can't remember what the injury was. The defense has to be. I mean, again, week 1, have to get better. Third down, our defense. They converted 14 and 19 third downs. But if you think about it, we couldn't get off the field. It was in the fourth quarter. So 3rd and 16. I kid you not. Somehow, Keenan Allen Herbert connected with Allen, and I'm like, wow. And then the ace in the hole was when he threw that touchdown to Mike Williams. That was when the game was over. And I hate to do this, but I had to pull the stat that we allowed 14 third down conversions in the game. That's a franchise record. The last time we did that was week 6 in 1994 to the Philadelphia Eagles. However, highlight of the game was that McLaurin catch. How he caught that has to be the best catch of the year. I mean, again, it's week 1. And that's how I look at it. Week 1, we usually see the good, bad, and the ugly. You know, I want to look. I want to look at our offensive line because I'm a fan of it. Sam Cosmi, I know he's young. He's going to. And again, it's just really one game, but he really he struggled against Joey Bosa. I feel like at times coaching that coaching staff could have given him some help. Heineke has some legs and he hit those deficiencies. You know, he did his job to escape out the pocket and move around to get extra time. But, you know, with him and Leno, they both struggle. But again, they're going to mesh. The chemistry is going to get better. It's going to get stronger. I'm confident in that offensive line. Antonio Gibson. Antonio Gibson.
How do you do that? How do you do that? What the hell is going on?
Now, I have a feeling that Sean Spencer and the Washington football crew are going to talk about it. Now, I got to give him this. Great game. Rushed for 90 yards, caught 3 passes for 18 yards. He looked really good in the short down situations, but we got the ball back on a William Jackson third interception from the inside the 5-yard line, and then the very next play, Antonio Gibson fumbled the ball, and then not 3 plays later, San Diego scored. That stings a little bit. I mean, again, it's week 1, and there's always room for improvement. But it's just things we got to work on. I mean, it's little things. I mean, we play those G-men tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday, right? Yes. Wow. Well, I'm confident that these teams are going to go. I'm not backing down from my pick. They're going to win the division. It's one game, just like for the Ravens, it's one game. These are things that we can improve on week by week, practice by practice, and you'll see it all fall into place. So it's week 1. I'm not panicking on both teams. Great games. I just wish both teams had won. While I'm still talking about football, let me talk about some takeaways I enjoyed. Jameis Winston and the New Orleans Saints. Again, I wanted to send my thoughts and prayers. I continue to pray for those that have been affected by Hurricane Ida in Orleans. I'm hoping that they'll be able to play at the Dome, hopefully soon. Jameis Winston looked really good. 5 touchdowns, very Drew Brees-like. Again, that's what I'm talking about. Coaching. Coaching matters. And I think a relationship with your best player. I think developing a player also matters. Bruce Arians is his quarterback guru. He could have shaped Jameis Winston better. Didn't do that. Sean Payton. It's just something about him as a coach. He will work with you. And then also, too, who did Jameis Winston sit behind last year? Drew Brees. Now, because, again, you have 10 new starters. They have 10 new starters because of injuries. And also, too, everybody is feeling the squeeze. Latavius, now, I want to point this out. Now, Latavius Murray can play. The only reason why he was cut was because of money. And the Saints right now are in the red. They just gave Lattimore some money, which takes him a hit off the cap. Excuse me. So I'm not worried about that. I'm the Green Bay Packers. It's telling. I get why I had Nick Rosario and Abs on here for episode 1 last season. And the things that Nick Rosario said, I had to play that video back, and I wanted, and the things that he was saying was absolutely right. Here's a guy all off season, threatening to retire. You know, he's putting a snippet of him and Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen from The Last Dance. Meanwhile, he could have been out there working with these guys. Now, again, no excuses. He practically brushed it off like it's just one game. That's not the Green Bay Packers I know. That's not the Aaron Rodgers I know. But he came off of that very Brett Favre-like. But again, it got passes. Everyone gave him the sympathy card. Oh, he should just leave. And I'm saying, yo, man, the talent that you got, you can work beside. You can make a Vondez Scantling better. You can make an Adam Lazard better. You can work with those guys in the offseason. So hell, I mean, I get it. You want to have the best players. You got Randall Cobb. You got Devontae Adams. You got to argue. You got a squad. But to me, it felt like you made it more about you. I mean, I understand Green Bay has a new defensive coordinator. His name is Joe Barry. So Darius Smith didn't practice all summer. You had 2 rookie offensive linemen. David Bacardi's out for 6 weeks. And it just looks like they look like the deer in headlights. I mean, at what, like, yo, man. I want to talk about the. I was watching the Pittsburgh Steelers game and the Buffalo Bills. That was actually a good game. I actually had Big Ben on my fantasy team. I should have started him, but that's okay. Their defense came out to play. I like the strength, and it really kept the game close in the first half. Pittsburgh scored 20 unanswered points. Josh Allen and that offense, they look shook. I believe that they can repeat the same success from last year. Yes, Josh Allen completed, 30 of 51 for 270 yards. Yes, he did struggle to get Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley the ball. Again, I pointed this out. The biggest thing about Buffalo is the offensive line, which also really was a factor in Josh Allen's performance. When you have 6 holding penalties, 4 of them were accepted. That stings and that hurts. I'm not. The Bills will get together, and like I said, the Steelers, even though I don't think they are a playoff team, they will keep you on your toes. Sunday night, the Rams versus those Chicago Bears. I have to give Matthew Stafford his props. He had a good game, but I'm sorry, championship or bust, just like Lamar Jackson. Yes, I'm saying that. Cooper Kupp, who's on my fantasy roster, I was lost by 30-something points. That Bear, the only thing is, besides the passing attack, I know it's real. Stafford started off with a 67-yard pass to Kupp, and then not Cooper Kupp. It was Van Jefferson, and then the same thing on the second half. It was a 56-yard to Cooper. Without Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson did start. He had 70 yards. Sonny Mitchell, he only had 1 yard and 2 carries. And also, too, Jake Funk from the University of Maryland did not start. The defense, the defense is solid. You could tell by the look at Matthew Stafford's face, look like a breath of fresh air. I just not a fan of the fact that the questions that I can't remember, one of the questions that was asked, in particular, I felt like I was taking a shot at Jared Goff. I think it's a little unfair, and again, that's what I'm saying. And I know just stay with me. I was watching Inside the NBA, and it was a conversation about Dwayne Casey and I want to say it was DeMar DeRozan at the time. I can't remember who it was. But Charles Barkley was saying, you got to repair that relationship. And Shaq said, no, you don't. That's bullshit. I think as a coach and as a star, you got to have a relationship some way, somehow. You know, the things that they're saying about Jared Goff, he's hard-headed. You know, he all these different things. And I'm saying, well, what about Sean McVay? Because they made it seem like Sean McVay in all this is kind of like the victim. And I'm kind of like, well, what about McVay? Because coaches too, they can get away with a lot of stuff. And again, Jared Goff was just in the Super Bowl with this team. So I feel like that relationship could have been repaired. But if you don't have a relationship with your best player and as a coach and vice versa, it's not going to work. And I feel like management should have stepped in there and hammered it out. But I think it was, you know, when they said teacher, student. Well, that says a lot about personality. You know, Jared Goff probably could have been feeling some type of way. Oh, no, I don't really want to do that. No, I don't. We don't know that. We don't really have all the facts. I just think the way it's coming out, they're making it seem like Sean McVay is the victim, and I feel like we need more than just what we're. It's kind of one-sided towards him. Chicago's defense cost them the game. I'm just going to keep it real. That secondary, horrendous in coverage. I mean, broken plays. I understand that his name is Sean Desi, something like that. To give up long plays like that, that's disgusting. There's no answers on defense. And again, my fear is, you know, this Bear team is can compete. That defense is getting older, and I give them like another 2 years, and they're going to have to just say, shut it. Let's just get rid of it. Unfortunately, my man Tevin Jenkins is out after getting back surgery. Jason Peters got hurt, and then they brought in Larry Braun, who also had a ankle injury in that game, and they had to move Elijah Wilkinson, who plays right. I actually like Elijah Wilkinson, to the left. Justin Fields got in there for a little bit. At some point, Matt Nagy, the $1 billion question is, are you going to start Justin Fields? I look, because we saw it. We saw the flashes. At least I did. Again, trust your eyes. Because, again, not taking anything with Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton didn't do too bad. But some of the other things that I pointed out, that defense, that's beyond, Justin Fields can't cover that. That's something that's going to have to be worked on. The Cleveland Browns versus the Kansas City Chiefs, 33-29. The Cleveland Browns had that game, and we thought we knew who we thought they were. That should not have happened. The Chiefs' defense for 3 quarters was mediocre, but in the fourth quarter, obviously led by Chris Jones, former Raven, rallied And the Browns looked. Wait, did I say Chris Jones played for the Ravens? Hold on. No, just for the Chiefs. I'm thinking of his brother. I'm sorry. Just absolute disgust, this disappointment in the Chiefs. Not the Chiefs, the Browns. Tyreek Hill had 197 yards for a touchdown. Nobody stepped up offensively. I mean, nobody stepped up against Cleveland. They relied too heavily on Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. That can't happen. They got to have some help. It can't be just those two. Miko Harden, where you at? I can't think of the other cats they had on that field, but then comes to mind. It just can't be Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. But that defense in the fourth quarter, it showed that they definitely stepped up and rallied. But Baltimore should pay attention to that. But the Browns, man, I give it to Cleveland. For 3 quarters, you played the AFC champs really well. And in the fourth quarter, they wet the bed. Odell Beckham Jr. didn't play. I felt like the Browns had it. The particular mistakes, again, when you're making mental mistakes, especially the costly penalty, I can't think who it was. It was Malik Harrison Jr. or something like that, where he pushed that coach, and that coach should have got a penalty for 2 because he pushed him as well. Things like that. Just a complete meltdown on the Browns side. And I know people want to say, "Well, the Browns, there they go. The Browns are the Browns." It just, I was really, really expecting more. But I mean, more. That fourth quarter was very, very disappointing. J.C. Treader, that was his name, that pushed that coach, and that coach really should be, and he really should be fined something, because that should not have happened. But that's just one of many games. I couldn't catch up with everybody else. I haven't looked at all the highlights for the other teams. I know, like the Miami Dolphins, they escaped Foxborough with a W. I know Sam Darnold went to New York and beat the Jets. Zach Wilson is still a developing piece. It was great. I feel bad for Sam Darnold. I've said this publicly. Adam Gase has ruined him in a way, destroyed his confidence. I'm glad to see he is on a different team, fresh air, just start anew. So those are my takeaways from week 1. I will kind of revisit that with the other teams once I look at the other highlights and different things like that and see what I took away. But let me transition to baseball. This is where my weekend was really ruined. So Saturday night, we lost 11-10. George Springer hit a go-ahead game-winning home run. A buddy of mine asked, we said, hey, let's go and see this game Sunday. No. And I really don't know what to say. The final score was 22-7. Now you think of that score? That's like a football game. If anything, particularly with the 19-game losing streak that they just recently came off of, they seem pretty well in handling taking these L's. That was absolutely disgusting. Now, we played well over 500 the last 16 games coming into that series against Toronto. But in the doubleheader Saturday and then Sunday's loss was just disgusting. Zach Lowther was the starter. He allowed, again, in the start against the Royals, allowed 3 hits in 6 innings. Let me pull up the notes here, because this is what pisses me off, right? Zach Lowther, 2 innings, 4 hits, 7 runs, 3 walks, gave up 2 home runs, struck out 4. He brings in Spencer Watkins. Spencer Watkins, in 1/3 of an inning, allowed 7 runs. They didn't strike out a batter. It was 10-0 in the 3rd inning. Bases were loaded. Taskar Hernandez hit a grand slam. Mike Bowman comes in and gets us out the inning. He allowed 6 runs in 3 innings. Now we have some guy by the name of Eric Handhold. In 1 inning and 2 batters, allowed 2 runs. Connor Green and Fernando Abad, back-to-back innings, did their job. Now Ryan Mountcastle hit his 28th home run that ties Cal Ripken for the most home runs as a rookie. Mountcastle and Austin Waynes had extra base hit through called multiple hits. Austin Waynes and Anthony Santander also hit home runs, and that also hit a couple kind of a home run in there. But absolutely pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. No way in hell against a divisional rival, 22-7.
How do you do that? How do you do that? What the hell is going on?
Flat out pathetic. Listen, they got 2, and they lost tonight against the Yankees, and I'll cover that in episode 6. There's 2 more weeks and 3 more days of this. I'm done with them. That was absolutely pathetic to watch. And oh, by the way, Vladimir Guerrero hit his 45th home run in that series as well. You know, the only team besides Baltimore, the Orioles losing, Ravens losing last night, and the Orioles getting trounced this weekend was the Nationals. They were the only team that actually won Sunday, 6-2. Patrick Corbin had retired 13 batters. We put up 6 runs on the Pirates, and we avoided getting swept. Now, granted, last night Sandy Alcantara almost threw like a no-hitter, so that kind of stung. And real quick, shout out to Max Scherzer, former National World Series champion, future Hall of Famer, recorded his 3,000th strikeout. Well deserved. But they were the only team that actually won over the weekend and actually made me feel a little better. I don't know what to feel. I don't know what to feel. Now, we won tonight, against the Nationals 8-2. We actually did pretty well in that game. Ryan Zimmerman has now I want to say I think he has like the most home runs against the Marlins now. Oh, let me see where Ryan Zimmerman is at on that stats real quick. It's Ryan Zimmerman. Where we at? That was his 13th home run on the season. I mean, where do I start? Yeah, I mean, the Nationals were in. That was it. The only team that made me feel better. He actually turns 37 this month. So I would like to know. I don't know where it's going to happen. I don't know if this would be his last year or what, but Ryan Zimmerman, just like Adam Jones, was the face for the Nationals. Well deserved. I feel like when he goes, I mean, the team will be in good hands. But I mean, we're 1685. Josiah Gray and Kerber Rutz and then Luis Garcia and Carter Bloom. Juan Soto, we're building this team around him. Lane Thomas, Riley Adams, nothing to sneeze at. I think we got a good team for the future to go, but the Washington Nationals were the only team that actually made me feel better this weekend. Let me stop talking about them because I'm going to put my head through this wall. I keep talking about it. I like the respect that the Major League Baseball is going to allow the number 21 to be worn on the 15th. It's according to the articles on ESPN, it's like all Puerto Rican players in Major League Baseball will be allowed to wear 21 to honor Clemente tomorrow, which is actually today, the 15th. Is to honor Roberto Clemente Day. And again, we all know the man that Roberto Clemente was, what he did for the game, different things like that. He died on December 31st, was in 1972, by, delivering supplies to Puerto Rico. And after, there was an earthquake that happened in Nicaragua. Real quick, I just want to announce that for this year's 2021 Roberto Clemente Award winners was Trey Mancini, Jason Hayward, Joey Votto, Miguel Cabrera, Salvador Perez, Mike Trout, Nelson Cruz, and I want to say it was Pete Alonso. I feel like Trey Mancini is going to win that award. Just the type of person that Trey Mancini is and what he's been through. I feel like he's going to win to me. So that's great that they're doing that. The Seattle Mariners are going to host in 2023 the All-Star Game, T-Mobile Park. Why can we not get the All-Star Game here and with down in Baltimore? I don't get that. Ryan Braun retired today after 14 years. 14 years? Sounds about right. Ryan Braun played for the Milwaukee Brewers. The only thing, he was a great player, but he messed up when he was caught with taking the steroids and whatever he did, and he's got to live with that, unfortunately. He was a great player. I think he had like 352 home runs with the Brewers, MVP, Silver Slugger. He definitely played a good role part in that Brewer team for years, being competitive. So just congratulations and best endeavors for you. The San Francisco Giants became the first team last night to go to punch their ticket in the postseason. I'm calling it right now. They're going to win the World Series. Let me transition away from baseball. Talk about some basketball real quick. John Wall. They're trying to work something out with the Houston Rockets. I don't know what to really feel about it. I wish John Wall was still on the Wizards, but I know it's not going to happen. It just was never going to materialize. He's still going to be present in training camp, but I think he wants to be in a situation where I think the Houston Rockets want to move on from him. And again, that contract, I had to look at it, looking here on Spider Track. He's making $43.3 million. Another player also makes that by the name of the guy who destroyed that franchise, James Harden. He has a player option for next season for $47.4 million. Again, he hasn't played in well over 2 years. He played 40 games. This past season, he averaged 26 and 1 and a steal. He looked great. He's not the same player that he was, unfortunately. The explosiveness is just not there. But, man, John Wall, man, I really wish we could get him. Even if it's just cheap, if he just comes off the bench. I really hope we can. But it's that contract. But with that kind of money he's making, no team's going to take that contract. It's tough. Is that going to be cap strapped? Because the Rockets got to pay some of that, and then you got to absorb the last year of it. And I can't see that. I really, really, truly can't see that. Aaron Gordon was signed to a 4-year extension with the Denver Nuggets worth $90 million. I like this signing. My only beef with Aaron Gordon was I didn't like the fact after they played the Suns. I wish I could play. Actually, hold on. I can show you better than I can tell you, but I know I'm gonna get a copyright claim for it, but that's okay. Again, I don't own any video. I'm just sharing it for educational purposes. There was a video where they were talking about what was it? It was, I think they were playing the Suns, and Aaron Gordon made some comments. I gotta find it. Where is it? Oh man, I'm trying to find that clip because it was really interesting. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to find it. Damn it. Where is it? I'm really trying to find this video. Oh my gosh. Wow. There was a video where they were talking, where Aaron Gordon was basically calling out the team. And crap, where is it? Here it is. I found it. Okay, I found it, y'all. I apologize. I had, because it was going to bother me if I didn't find that video. Okay, here's what I'm talking about. This is my only beef for Aaron Gordon. I know I'm going to get a copyright claim for it.
62, but when you get a day off in between, after you got your butt kicked in the game, where they're like, we just quit. This game is over.
Phoenix, it's his team. Denver have a lot of comeback wins. The reason why I made my comments at halftime, they were playing terrible, only down by 10. I thought they were going to have a lot more heart and come out with a sense of urgency and then, cut it to 6, cut it to 4. But they laid an egg. They quit tonight.
This game reminded me of that.
Let me just skip it real quick.
Man, there's nothing like the playoffs. 4 games in 5 days, a game 52, 62. But when you get a day off in between, after you got your butt kicked in game 1, and don't give any effort.
Okay, here's the part.
After you got your butt kicked in game 1, you get MVP the day before, and then you come out and don't give any effort. That was like Shaq, and I told Shaq, because Denver had some games where they came back in the second half. But that team tonight, they packed it in.
I have a question for you, and because I found this interesting. Chris Haynes had a report early in the game talking about what happened after the game in the Denver locker room, that apparently a couple of players, got up and were talking about playing soft and playing scared, and Aaron Gordon was one of them. Is it unusual for a guy who's only been with 25 games to be one of the voices who's going to come out and say, you guys aren't doing this and you guys aren't doing that?
Well, and it's different on every team.
Yeah. And then don't you have to come out and have more than a 6-point game on
Yes, you do.
Well, your boy Kenny here said he had to have a good game. And you can't be cursing other people out and come out and get 6. But every team is different. A lot of times it's not the best player who's the most vocal guy. I mean, Tim Duncan's the greatest power forward ever. I don't think he did a lot of talking on the Spurs. He let his play do the talking. But Aaron said that you can't come out and get me 6. You can't get me 6 if you've been calling out other people. And you first of all, you got to be diving all over the floor. You got to show me something. You can't get 6 if you're telling everybody else, especially publicly, calling everybody soft and things like that.
Yeah, 123-9.
Yeah, so that's my only beef with not beef. That's one thing that bothers me about Aaron Gordon, where he did that publicly. Again, I feel like like he said, everyone on the different team is different, but I mean, it's a great signing. Don't get me wrong. He's under contract still up and through the 2025-2026 season. He only played 25 games last year, averaged 10 points, shot a career high 50% from the field. He's definitely defensively had a big impact. Held to, I looked at the statistic, held to his opponents to 3.2% worse shooting marks than their normal average when they guard him, when he's guarding them. So, unfortunately, they were bounced out of the first round by those. They beat the Portland Trailblazers, but unfortunately lost to the Phoenix Suns. But we'll see what that looks like. I know the Lakers. I'm not going to talk about the Lakers. That's okay. They got, now they're trying to work out Kenneth Faried. I guess Marcus saw this wasn't good enough. Okay. I was reading this article on ESPN earlier today, and the league is saying that the league won't be required to get the COVID vaccine, the COVID-19 vaccine. It's not going to mandate any player to get it. According to what I read, it said 85% of the league, I said roughly, is 85% of the league are vaccinated. Biggest things that they touched on in the article was having like a space in between each locker for locker rooms. to eat, fly, and ride buses in a different situation. Again, this is not finalized. This was all talked about. So we talked about the Players Association. Now, because in New York and San Francisco specifically, there are new laws that required vaccines, and that means the Knicks, the Nets, and the Warriors have to are required, but unless there is a medical or religious exemption, they don't have to get it. So that was what the article said. I thought that was kind of interesting. So I was like, oh, okay. So we'll see how that looks. While I'm going to stick, I got 3 more. I got a couple more for y'all, and then we're going to end the podcast. Good timing, actually. The Washington Mystics, they live to fight another day in terms of the playoff hopes. I'm not sold. I'm really not sold. I just don't see it. Again, it's the little things. Tina Charles looked like what I expected her to look like. Where do I begin? 31 points, 10 rebounds, another double. I feel like she should be the MVP. She should just be the scoring champion, honestly. She actually is now second in rebounds. So, big ups to her. It was a stagnant by the Mystics. Tina Charles joined Maya Moore and Diana Taurasi as the only players to ever score 30 points plus and 10 rebounds or more in one season. That's facts. And according to this next hoops, she scores 30 or more points every 2.5 games. I'm also looking at a couple other things. Natasha Cloud had a big stepped up for us when it was key. She had 16. Shatori Walker Kimbrell had another big game. 7 of 8 from the field, 14.6 steals. She had a key jumper that put us up 5 with about a minute 18, like a minute 15 to go. Because Tina also she hit just before that possession, hit a 3. So we went on a 15-0 run to end the first quarter. But the other things I'm looking at the end. I will talk about this other team, but the Los Angeles Sparks, they're fighting for a playoff spot, and they trounced the Seattle Storm 81-53. Erica really had a crossover. She crossed up Sue Bird that game. Actually, let me find that real quick. Oh, Lord. Hold on. Wait a minute. Because damn. I don't know what to feel about that one. Real quick shot to Noel Quinn, by the way.
Gives you a lot of confidence in it. You saw Noel Quinn there, the local product as Bird hits the deck and Wheeler knocks down the elbow jumper. You don't treat
I don't know what that music is in the background. I don't want to get no copyright for that. Watch that. That had to low-key hurt. that happened. That really happened. But no, they're trying to fight for a playoff spot. So let me just show you all the scenarios real quick for the Mystics to get into the playoffs. Okay, because like I said, I don't see it. So Friday, one of two things has to happen. Whatever happens against New York on Friday, am I saying that right? Yes. We win any of these games, okay? Okay, so let's go this way. If we lose to Minnesota and we need to be concerned about Dallas. Well, Dallas got in there. They're fine. New York and Los Angeles. We beat Minnesota. We win. We clinch. We lose to Minnesota. We're not going to make the playoffs. Because I can already tell you right now that the New York Liberty are not going to beat the Connecticut Sun. That's just not going to happen. So the Connecticut, I think it all depends on what happens in this game. So whatever happens against the New York Liberty on Friday, and whatever happens tonight, today, with the Liberty and the Sun, because the Sun now have a double bye, and I can already tell you we're not going to win that last game of the season against Minnesota. And it wouldn't faze me if Cheryl Reeve, I don't know why I had my calendar up there, I apologize. Oh, God. We just got to win. We got to win. We got to win. We got to win. We gotta win that game. Both games, but I wouldn't pass me by if Cheryl Reeves sits Nafisa Collier and Cheryl Reeves on that last game. It wouldn't faze me. But I have to look at the box score again. Teresa Plassance had 1 point. No, I'm just kidding. No, she really had 1 point. Ariel Atkins didn't play. Manisha Hines-Allen didn't play. I need some more scoring, guys. I need help. Help me. Like, Natasha had 16. Shatoria had 14. And then, again, it was the Tina Charles show. Azora Stevens actually had a really good game. 18 points. She didn't have a rebound. She had a couple of steals. 7-8 from the field. She didn't make a three. The real CP3, Candace Parker, had a double-double, 12 points, but 0-3 from the field. Lexi Brown, 14 minutes and only missed. Well, she had 2 rebounds and a steal. Wow. Chicago Sky was quiet. When I look more at this box score, I look more further in depth into it. They were really quiet in this game. Wow. Okay. All right. Enough about the Mystics. So they just got to win. If they Liberty win, because I think also depends on the Sparks. What's going on, sir? Good to see you. Congratulations on the 1,000 subs, by the way. I'm trying to be like you one day. I got to talk about the Indiana Fever and the Atlanta Dream. Something told me to watch this game. A buddy of mine said, hey, this game's coming on NBA TV. Check this out. and something said, "Oh, okay." Before I get into that, I want to look at the standings real quick, because the Indiana Fever, This is I'm not throwing shade or either team, but they're lottery teams. The Indiana Fever are 6-24, and the Indiana Dream are 8-22. Okay, they're the first and second overall picks. Okay, so that means Ryan Howard's not going to be a Mystic. That's okay. No, seriously, I'm looking at the standings, and I can share my screen with you. But I'm disappointed. I did say at the beginning of the season that I did expect all 12 teams to have at least 10 wins at most. I was consistent for 10. So I'm proud of that. I got that prediction right. I said at least 10 teams will have 10 wins. If not all 12, 10 or more wins. The Indiana Fever on a 5-game losing streak. The Dream won tonight. But something just told me, like, watch this game. The final score was 85-78. Real quick, who didn't play? Oh, Tiana Hawkins was back in the game. Okay, I'll get into that. Darius Taylor's first win as a head coach. Tiffany Hayes had 15. Particularly she scored 15 points in the third quarter. It was at one point it was 43-39, and then it was 60. They were up 5 going in the fourth quarter. Tiffany Hayes was 11 of 18 from the field, and then 5 threes. Box score for Indiana. He had five starters, all in double digits. This had no answers for Tiffany Mitchell. Not Tiffany Mitchell. I mean Tiffany Hayes. Excuse me. And then behind that, Eric McDonald. I'm glad that she's in there, getting some starts, getting some love in there. Even it wasn't a offensively a great game, but 6 points, 4 steals, 6 assists, 2 rebounds. I'm not mad at that. But when I'm looking at both teams, a couple things have to happen. The Atlanta Dream, they needed an identity, and I like Candace Dupree getting signed by them, but that's like putting a bandage on a wound that's infected. I think it starts at the top. Like I said, they need some type of, I said that word, an identity, leadership. Cause I just find it weird that Nikki Cohen just leaves like that at the beginning of the season, and that Mike Peterson, for health reasons, he stepped down, and you're hearing all these things with Kennedy Carter and that fiasco, and she hasn't even played. Like, I think at this point, I think she's going to be traded after the season. I think they're done with her. They're going to have to figure some things out, because, again, I just feel like some of on paper, this is a good team. Tiana Hawkins, former Mystic, Odyssey Sims, Shakina Strickland, Blake Dietrich, Elizabeth Williams, Monique Billings, Courtney Williams, Tiffany Hayes. On paper, it's a great team, but there's just no way that you should be 8-22. There's just no way. Now, if you're the Indiana Fever, I really don't know what to really say. I like Coach Stanley because she was a former assistant for the Mystics. I don't want to go saying she might be fired. I think the team's great. I think the team it needs. I think it's missing something. That experiment with Tierra McCowan and Lauren Cox was not a good one, in my personal opinion. It just was not. Kaiser Gondrzik is most likely she's just not coming back because we only got 2 games left, so I don't see her coming back at all. And I don't know what they're going to do with that in the off season, because I'm not sure if she's going to be guaranteed to. If she's guaranteed on the roster next year. I feel like you got your core with Kelsey Mitchell, Tiffany Mitchell, Victoria Vivens, Tierra McCowan. Emma Cannon's really stepped up. She's really when they signed her to that 7-day contract. She's really picked it up. And I like Jantel Lambert because she brings some veteran presence, but I had to see this for myself. And they're going to have both teams are going to be the number 1 and number 2 overall pick. In order for that to happen, Indiana has to lose one or two, has to lose one of either game, or New York has to win. New York Liberty. I don't really know how to feel. I mean, it was a great game. I said, well, maybe if I just see one game for myself, and I was glad I was able to catch it. I gotta give my boy Drew a shout out for saying, yo, check this game on NBA TV. So that happened. Last topic. I'm going to go there. I'm trying to, I'm pulling up the video, but I want to make sure that I'm saying the right words. I don't want. I don't want to say anything that may find people that maybe say things that are offensive. But I want you guys to understand where I come from on this. And no, if anything, people know me. I'm honest. I try to keep it real about a situation. I'm going to tell it like it is. Again, we all have an opinion. We all can feel what we feel when it comes to subjects like this. But I think some people may think I may come off as extreme. But I think with Brittney Renner, okay, I think what she's been doing, particularly this situation with PJ Washington, it's getting really ugly. To now get $200,000, he has to pay that for now over 18 years, and he pretty much have cut him off from even wanting to see the child, which makes absolutely no sense. To now this is an attention seeker. This is what we've glorified as a society. We've glorified this. Like this is what we're teaching young girls and young boys. Like, it's okay to glorify this kind of behavior. Let me just play the video.
Hey, y'all. Hi. It's officially stepdaddy season. Yeah, what up? I got the car seat in the back. Let's go to the park. Don't let your baby mama or your baby daddy block your blessings. I know in theory it sounds good keeping the same person to have kids with, but that's insanity as well. So if it doesn't work out with them, it'll work out with someone else. Okay? It just will. That's how that goes. And trust me, I know it's ghetto. It is so ghetto being a baby mama, and thinking about multiple baby daddies is scary. But you, my baby, gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. So we're moving forward, onward, upward. Okay. I know a lot of you are skeptical about talking to people with children, but I can assure you, the baby mamas now, today, we don't give a damn. You can have them. I have exited the rat race. I am not a threat. I want you to be around for a long time, not a good time. You can hold my son, put him on your story. I trust his judgment. I really do. I really, really do. I just want you guys to be happy. I swear I do. Now, I'm not a threat, but you know, I can't speak for the other hoes that you don't know about. You know, maybe I'll definitely be in your favor. But I am here for it. Okay, like, people move on. Save the, you should have got the ring first. It wasn't gonna work out anyways. It just wasn't gonna work out. Let's laugh together and let's raise this baby, you know? Ooh, this ghetto. It's so fucking ghetto. In conclusion, stepdaddy season. Big aura, big lumber, big follow through need only apply.
What did she say in that?
In conclusion, stepdaddy season. Big aura, big lumber, big follow through need only apply.
Hold on. What the fuck did she? What? Big lumber, big follow through only apply. What the hell are you, bro? See, like, this is what I'm talking about. This is what we're glorifying. We're glorifying this behavior. You've glorified this. I mean, how can some of us not check this and have an issue with it? Now, question. Because again, you know, I'm not on social media like that, but my radar always goes off. Isn't this the same Brittney Renner that told PJ Washington, quote, this is what she said, you shouldn't have let off in me? Then she said that. This again, not all, but this women like Brittney, anyone with self-respect would not fall into that kind of trap. Like, these things that she's saying is all for attention. In that book she wrote, she talked about, there was something where she was recruiting girls for, I think at the time, someone she was dating to have a threesome. Something mentally isn't right with her. And the body language in that video speaks volumes. Like, I don't know what more evidence. Because again, like, you know who's really going to be hurting this is the son. Because now, look, she's pushing this narrative that PJ Washington's not there for the child. Now, all this body language, on the inside, she's crying somewhere. This is sick. Thank you. Because you know what? There's some other things. As the great Herm Edwards once said, don't press send. And there's just certain thoughts that come to my mind that I'm going to keep to myself. I'm just going to leave it at this. This is what we're glorifying. And we're pretty much saying this is acceptable in our society. I blame social media and I blame society for this crap. Because this is what you call glorifying attention seeker. What? First and foremost, I talked about this in a video I did about Aubrey Huff a few months ago. You want to be careful of who you bring around your kids. Don't just bring anybody. But to me, that's code word in her eyes. Oh, I'm just going to let's look the bag and tag. Wrap them up like a spider does its food and goes in for the kill. I've said enough. Because the more I talk about her, the more again, Herm Edwards, don't press send. This is what our society is at. And again, let me just point this out. Not all. I'm not talking about all women. I'm talking about women like this. That's disgusting, and that we're glorifying this.
How do you do that? How do you do that? What the hell is going on?
But I've said enough. Because the more no. Just look. It's documented. All this is for attention. She's trying to be famous. That's all she's trying to do. But this is what we glorified. I'm going to keep saying it. We've glorified this behavior. And it's sad. If PJ Washington's smart, he needs to lawyer up and get custody of that child. He really does. At least share the custody. With that being said, I'm out. Peace. Stay.
First of all, listen, it's interesting about all these young guys today. They never call on us and say, hey, thanks for the kind word and tell me how great a player I am. But when they play like crap and we call them out, we don't know what we're talking about. Listen, I'm easy to find, but I get sick of these guys complaining. These young guys, they never call us and say, when a coach is wrong, I'm going to call him out. But when players are wrong, I'm going to call them out. But listen, I'm going to criticize guys that they deserve it. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.